lost love. You don't want to really talk about it. You brought it back, and now I feel hurt all over again. You never find another. You know. They say the best way to get over never get over one is get over another one, but you can't get another Roadrunner.
The 1968 Roadrunner is part of the muscle car revolution. Now, the 68 Plymouth Roadrunner is really the quintessential example of an American muscle car. Welcome, everyone, to a new segment called Rides My Dad Had. The ride that I remember my father talking about more than any other, and that was his 1968 Plymouth Roadrunner. It came along right at the height of when the muscle car era was really beginning to take off, in a period when automakers were engaged in a fierce battle to produce the most powerful and the affordable performance vehicles on the market.
Hello, Petula Clark again, and this is my friend, Jimmy. It looks as if my fine little friend has discovered something you should know about.
Yes, he has, Petula. He's discovered the special Plymouths featured in Plymouth's Success Celebration.
Now, it was introduced by Plymouth as a stripped-down, budget-friendly option for enthusiasts who crave speed along with the frills, and the Roadrunner quickly became a cultural icon. With its no-nonsense approach, high-performance capabilities, and distinctive design, the 1968 Plymouth Roadrunner really left an indelible mark on the automotive industry. Now, it was kind of the birth of a legend. In the late 1960s, the muscle car market was booming. American manufacturers were vying to create the fastest and most powerful muscle cars, but these vehicles often came with a hefty price tag and a host of luxury options that drove up costs. Recognizing a gap in the market, Plymouth decided to create a car that would deliver raw power and performance at a more affordable price point. The idea was to strip away unnecessary features and focus on what really mattered to car enthusiasts: speed and performance. After all, is no replacement for displacement. Now, the result was the 1968 Plymouth Roadrunner, a car that embodied the essence of the muscle car. Named after the popular Warner Brothers cartoon character, the Roadrunner was designed to be fast, fun, and affordable. Plymouth even paid Warner Brothers $50,000 for the rights to use the character's name and likeness, complete with a beep beep horn that mimicked the sound of the cartoon Roadrunner. Now, from a design and engineering standpoint, the 1968 Plymouth Roadrunner was based on the B-body platform, shared with other Plymouth models like the Belvedere and the Satellite. However, the Roadrunner was deliberately pared down to its essentials. It featured a minimalist interior with bench seats, a basic dashboard, and limited options for luxury features. The emphasis was on reducing weight and cost, making the Plymouth Roadrunner accessible to a wider range of buyers. Under the hood, the Roadrunner came standard with a 383 cubic inch, or 6.3 liter for you newbies, V8 engine, producing 335 horsepower and 425 foot-pounds of torque. This engine, known as the Super Commando, was specified and specifically tuned for performance, with a high lift camshaft, high flow exhaust manifolds, and a 4-barrel carburetor. For those who wanted even more power, Plymouth offered the optimal 426 cubic inch, or 7 liter, Hemi V8 engine, which delivered a staggering 425 horsepower and 490 foot-pounds of torque. The Hemi option, though more expensive, made the Roadrunner one of the most formidable muscle cars of its time. The Roadrunner suspension was also designed for performance, with heavy-duty shocks and springs, a front stabilizer bar, and optional power disc brakes. These features gave the car excellent handling and stability, allowing drivers to take full advantage of the powerful engine. The Roadrunner's lightweight construction and powerful drivetrain made it a true performance on the street and the drag strip, because we know street was definitely important back in those days. Now, from a performance and popularity standpoint, well, the 1968 Roadrunner was an immediate success, both in terms of sales and performance. With a base price of just $2,896, it was significantly more affordable than many of its competitors, making it accessible to a broad audience. The Roadrunner's combination of low cost and high performance quickly made it a favorite among the young drivers and muscle car enthusiasts. Now, on a performance front, the Roadrunner more than lived up to its name. The standard 383 engine propelled the car from 0 to 60 in just over 6 seconds, which was pretty fast for this day with those tires that it was running on, and a quarter mile at around 14 seconds. The Hemi-equipped Roadrunner was even faster, with 0 to 60 times of around 5.3 seconds and a quarter mile of 13.5 seconds at over 105 miles per hour. Now, these figures made the Roadrunner one of the quickest cars of its time, capable of outpacing many more expensive and luxurious rivals. Now, the Roadrunner's popularity was also boosted by its distinct styling. With its bold lines, aggressive stance, and minimalist design, the Roadrunner stood out on the road. The car's signature cartoon Roadrunner decals and the beep beep horn added a touch of whimsy, but it also gave us a personality that resonated with a generation of drivers who value both performance and fun. Now, what about the cultural impact and legacy of the Roadrunner? Well, the 68 Roadrunner wasn't just a car. It was a symbol of the muscle car era and the values that defined it: power, speed, affordability. It represented a shift in the automotive industry where performance became accessible to a wider audience. The Plymouth Roadrunner's success helped to solidify Plymouth's reputation as a manufacturer of high-performance vehicles, and it set the stage for future muscle cars that would continue to push the boundaries of speed and power. So much so that they really became about eliminating those cars by the mid-70s, but more on that later. In popular culture, the Roadrunner became an icon. It was featured in movies, television shows, and music, often depicted as a quintessential muscle car. The Roadrunner's image as a no-frills, high-performance machine resonated with car enthusiasts and continues to do so to this day. The car's legacy is also preserved by the many collectors and restorers who keep the spirit of the 1968 Roadrunner alive. The success of the 1968 Roadrunner also had a lasting impact on a muscle car market. It demonstrated that there was a strong demand for affordable, high-performance vehicles, a concept that would be embraced by other manufacturers in the years to come. The Roadrunner's influence can be seen in subsequent muscle cars, which often prioritize performance over luxury to appeal to the same market segment. So overall, the 1968 Plymouth Roadrunner stands as a testament to the ingenuity and boldness of American automotive design during the muscle car era. By stripping down the concept of a performance car to its bare essentials, Plymouth created a vehicle that was only accessible and exhilarating. The Roadrunner's powerful engines, minimalist design, and cultural impact have cemented its place in automotive history as one of the most iconic muscle cars of all time. Even today, the 1968 Roadrunner continues to captivate enthusiasts, reminding us of a time when speed, power, and affordability were the hallmarks of truly a great car. Now, this was the car that we grew up in our household. My brother and I heard so much about this car. And whenever my dad would take us to car shows, if there was a Roadrunner there, that was the car that he was going to be pointing out that he had. And if I remember correctly, and let's see when we talk to him, I think he ran a 1369 and quarter mile on, as he called them, cheetah slicks. I think that's what he used to tell us. But you know what? We're going to go ahead and see, and we're going to talk to him. But the bottom line is, my father owned so many cars in my life, and that's why I am an automotive enthusiast to this day. Hey, you even see my daughter posing next to a GTO at a park we went to. Ooh, that was probably like well over 10 years ago. But you know what? That's how much. It wasn't even a case of just me being in the cars with my brother. You know, even my kids, my sons, my daughters were all brought up to love the automobile. So I owe that all to my dad. And so I've heard so much about the cars. He's written down all the cars that he's owned. And maybe you also have some fond memories of rides your dad had. So join me as we start our first, we'll say, installment, our first episode, focusing on rides my dad had. Did your dad have one? Did you ride in one? Maybe one of you OGs, old gearheads in this case, had one as well. If you'd like to share your experience, definitely drop it in the comments below and follow for the other car, because I'm going to probably choose ones for me that I remember first that impacted me the most of the rides that my dad had. And any of them that you see, feel free to chime in with stories of what that car meant to you. So let's go ahead and see what these rides meant to my dad. Here we go. All right, Dad, I am starting out with a new segment that I've been wanting to do for a while, and we actually talked about it. And this one is something that you've actually been putting together for a while. It is rides my dad had. So I'm starting out first, of course, with the 1968 Plymouth Roadrunner. I need to know, when did you get it? Why did you get it? And how much did you pay for it?
I got it in 1968, of course. I think it was around April. They were doing the Martin Luther King March. I remember that. And they blocked traffic and made me mad. But anyway, we went to some street racing out by Candlestick Park. And I saw a Roadrunner run on a Saturday night. And I said, I got to have one. Monday morning, I went to the dealer. Monday night, I had the car. That's how I got it.
Wow. So that was almost that old classic phrase. What was it? Win on Sunday, sell on Monday kind of thing
Right.
they used to say.
It was about, how much did that thing cost? Well, it didn't cost much. I'm trying to think, maybe 3,000, somewhere around there.
Okay.
If that much.
All right. So what did you have in it?
It was a 383, 335 horse. It had the two-door sedan, white vinyl top, royal blue. And I had hubcaps, which I eventually bought some wheels for. And that was about it. And the chrome in the back. It wasn't plain.
Okay. All right. It wasn't plain.
No.
All right. No. What other cars did you compare it against? Was it just because you saw it win that race that made it, did you want to get it? Did you have any other cars in mind that you were looking to buy at that time?
Actually, no.
Wow.
I really didn't, because I wasn't even thinking about buying a car until I saw that. And I said, I gotta have one. Because I was standing right behind it when it took off. So I got all the sounds, the smell of the exhaust, everything.
Wow.
And so just had to have it. And then when I remember when we test drove it, your mom was with me, and I got on it, and that sound, she looked at me, and I looked at her, and we grinned, and said, that's it. It was like, oh, this is it. Like the big one.
All right.
Never been the same since.
So what car did you have before that? Yeah, we'll just start there. What car did you have before the Roadrunner?
I had a 63 Dodge Polara 500 convertible. But the 383, I think they had.
All right.
And it was okay, but it wasn't the fastest.
Yeah, we won't give that away, because that's going to be probably the topic of another one then in the future. So that's
cool.
Okay. And then, how many miles did you end up putting on the Roadrunner? We'll say we're going to work up to the ending of the Roadrunner, but how many miles did you put on the Roadrunner overall? Was it a good car? Was it reliable? Did it live up to your expectations?
Well, I never went back to the dealer. I never had any problems with it. And mileage, I believe I had maybe 12,000, if that much. Wow. I lived in it. I mean, I drove it every day, all day. And my buddy liked it so much, I traded his 56 Chevy, let him drive a Roadrunner for a day. And I drove his 56 Chevy. So that was a good buddy.
For real.
Right.
So
we had like a car club back then, and everybody knew everybody. We trusted everybody. Back in the day, you could do that.
Yeah, you don't want to do that now. You know, you don't know what these folks gonna do.
No.
All right. So did you ever take the Roadrunner to the drag strip? Did you ever race it?
Yes.
And what was your quarter mile time? Do you remember?
I remember what I told you.
Okay, what did you tell me?
Okay, after more consideration and more thought, I believe the guy I was racing, Sam, I believe I had his time slip, or was looking at his time slip, because there's no way I could have run that fast looking at the times nowadays. And he had I think a 409 Chevy, and he beat me. Not bad, but he beat me. So he couldn't have been much faster than that. So I must have had his time.
Ooh.
That's the one I remember.
And what you remember?
Like, I can read his license plate down the strip.
So he had at least a car length on you.
Yeah, he wasn't that far. Right. So I was good at coming out of the hole with the little cheetah slicks and all that stuff.
Do you remember what your time was?
No. I just remember 1379, and the more I think about it, that wasn't me. Maybe I was so thrilled at how it ran, and I'm looking at his slip and saying, I ran 1379. So years later, I'm saying that couldn't have been me. But I'll take it. But I know everybody's going to dispute me. but you can't prove it.
I mean, if they said, from what I read, the Hemi ran about a 13.5. And so
Right.
it said the 383 should have run about a 14. So, I mean, you know, if you had some slicks on there, I guess that's possible.
I knew I was in the 14s.
Okay.
I knew that much. Yeah.
But it seemed
But
a lot faster.
I didn't beat
to
him.
have something later.
Yeah. And there's another buddy named George. He had a 65 Plymouth with a 426 wedge.
Okay.
I could run away from him out of the hole, but he'd eventually catch me. That's how it was. Because you know, out west, you had some long stretches.
Right.
That wasn't on the strip. That was, you know, in visiting neighborhoods.
Okay.
I'll sit there like that.
So what is probably the car? What's the car that you beat in the Roadrunner, and what's another car you said certainly the 409 beat you? What's another car that you lost to? Which one you feared? If you pulled up to a light, that's the way I'm going to ask it. If you pulled up to a light, what car did you look at and be like, "Oh, I'm getting you"? And what car did you look at like, "I better I might not win this one"?
I raced against a 66 442, the guy I worked with, and we hung together. But you know, I was shifting manually, and I should have shifted second gear, you know, out of second gear into third. Other than that, we just stayed neck and neck. Had I shifted, I would have been better. It was just straining. That was it. That was my worst race. Other than that, I never had any problem. I was king of the hill in my neighborhood. Right. All my little buddies, the guy with 327 4-speed, the guy with 56 Chevys, all of that, they couldn't do anything.
Wow. So I'm sure most people, especially younger folks, look at it like, you know, today, people seem to go by the top of the line where, you know, they'll go get the Shelby or they'll get the Z06 or whatever. But a lot of people back when you all bought cars, you didn't do the upgrade to get the Hemi. So why didn't you get the Hemi at that time?
Because I didn't have the money that guy had ahead of me. Because there was a Hemi there and he had the money and I didn't have it. So or either that or he got there before me, but I know I wanted that car and said, "Oh no, that's sold already."
Wow.
The guy's not there yet, but I remember he got it. It was kind of lime green.
Yeah.
I remember that. And it was a hard top.
So it was a limited amount then?
Yeah, it was a limited amount because they just came out.
Oh.
But I still remember his was sharp because I like green anyway.
Yeah.
But I didn't get that one. I still remember it.
Okay.
Actually, I remember what the guy looks like still.
So that dude is still out there in California somewhere that still owns that Hemi. You gunning for him?
Yeah, he's got my Hemi. Other than that, I probably would have, tried for the Hemi.
All right.
Actually, I know I would have bought it.
Of all the cars that you own, where does the 68 Roadrunner really rank in your list?
Second.
Really?
Second.
Ooh. Yeah. All right. We're not gonna let the crowd know what's number one. We won't let them know what that one is. But second. Okay. All right. So what ended up happening to the Roadrunner? Oh, we got people in the crowd. We got folks in the audience.
Well, you know how the guys hang out and bench race?
Uh-huh.
We were doing that, and your mom wanted to go. She was with me. And I wasn't ready to go. Right? And she decided she'd get in the car and leave me. My car, understand? So she went around the block, came back. "You ready to go yet?" I said, "No." She took off again. Came back. "You ready to go yet?" "No." Like, 3 times the charm or whatever. She took off again, but she floored it and it got sideways on it until she hit 2 parked cars. 2 parked cars. And one of them was from Michigan.
And it wasn't a Mustang then either.
It was a Mustang, a white Mustang. Is that
right?
I think it was a 67 Mustang. So it was fairly new.
Wow.
She hit that and another old car. The guy said, "Well, my car's so old, I don't care,
Wow.
But she did that. And so after my buddies kind of told me, "Don't worry about it, it's just a car," because, I had kill in my eyes. But I thought of it, just a car. So that was it. So I drove a bent-up Roadrunner for a while. And then I put it in the shop. And you know what happened after that.
Yeah.
I paid for it. So that was the last time. So I got my wheels and everything off of it, and that was it. Last time I saw it.
Wow. And then I guess we'll still leave this teaser for everybody. What car did you get after the Roadrunner?
You mean I bought?
Yeah, I would say you bought. Yeah.
The Volkswagen.
The Volkswagen. All right.
Because I was determined I was going to get something that wasn't fast, nobody could tear it up.
Oh, okay.
I literally couldn't tear it up. You know? I tried. I couldn't do anything with that car. I wish they'd make them like that now.
But no, they won't. All right. Last question. What is it, now that you look back about the Roadrunner, if there was something that you would tell, I mean, I know what you told us all our lives, but what would you tell, I mean, you know, even down to your grandkids or just this younger generation, what's the main thing they should remember when they see that car? Because whenever we were at a car show, you always made sure you pointed out the Roadrunner. So now looking back, what's the main thing that makes that car worth looking at when you're walking through a show?
It's one of a kind. It's unique. It was something that a budget racer can buy. Anybody can afford it. It was basically a Belvedere. So you didn't have to step up to the Giddix, you know, GTX, or, you know, the Super Bs were basically the same. But the Roadrunner is just a poor man's racer. And you can get a plain Jane, or you can get little chrome strips and you get the different interior. I even had AM radio, which we never listened to because you wanted to hear the pipes. And other than that, that was it.
Oh, yeah. So I imagine since you only had it for about 12,000 miles, there were probably no modifications that you made, right? I
put cutouts on it.
Okay.
That was it. We didn't have headers and all that, didn't have the money, so we just threw some cutouts on it.
So yeah, to the younger,
I lose some, you know.
That's what I was saying. To the younger folks, tell them what cutouts are.
Well, this little thing you put on the exhaust pipe, hold an exhaust pipe and weld another little piece on it and unscrew it and open them up and it makes loud noise. It's like running with no mufflers, no nothing. Because it's the head of the muffler.
And now look, Ford offers that on the Mustang with the active exhaust, so you can do it automatically with just a push of a button.
Back in the 60s, I didn't think it cost anything then. We did it ourselves, so it didn't cost much.
Right.
Yeah, I remember that because my buddy had a gas station, so you know we worked on the cars there. So that worked out.
So looking back at it now, outside of the Hemi, is there any other car in hindsight you would have preferred? Like maybe, do you look back and say, you know what, if I had to do it all over again, I wouldn't have walked in and bought the Roadrunner. I probably should have bought the
GTO.
Whoa.
Yeah, I like that.
And the GM folks gonna love that.
I always like GTOs.
Oh, kind of like that one back there in the picture that Sierra's right next to.
Yeah. I've even had the opportunity to get beat by a GTO.
So that's one to beat.
When I had the Roadrunner, one didn't beat me because we used to race and the cops would watch us race and they were cheering us on. But I stayed like a fender ahead of them, barely. That was a 66 Gold. But I remember when I had my Mustang, I took off from a light and a goat came around me and still beat me. I couldn't understand that. And I felt real bad. I mean, I was gone and he just went around me. Oh, I've never lost my love for a Pontiac GTO. Especially my favorite one was the 65.
And why was that the favorite?
I just like the way they look.
Okay.
I did have the chance to ride in a 64 tri-power automatic, and that scared me. I was a kid then, you know, back in 64, you know, and I liked it. And I remember the guy that it was a convertible and took our buddies around over in Detroit. And it was around electric, as a matter of fact, before they had all those stop signs. So we got to go on it. Wow. It was good. It was good. He hit it from a roll and boom, you know. Couldn't reach the dashboard. One of those deals.
Oh yeah. All right. So
389 tri-power.
Now here's something you would always point out at the car shows. Whenever we would walk through, you always had the ability to point out a specific detail on the car. So if we have we'll say a grandfather and grandson or granddaughter walking through a car show, what are those one or two, I guess nowadays they say Easter eggs, what are those one or two things that you would say you would point out on that Roadrunner that most people would miss?
Oh, you picked the Roadrunner. I'd already had to answer something else.
Nope, for the Roadrunner.
Roadrunner. The gas. They wouldn't know where the gas cap was.
Ooh.
They would be looking on the side, stuff like that.
Okay.
And also, some of them had the fender-mounted lights, you know, turn signals. And let's see, what else? different chrome pieces on the back. Others didn't have them. The taxi cab models.
Okay.
Just different ways you can get it. And other, you knew it was a Roadrunner though, or the little beep bird.
Ah, there we go. Here we go.
That's one telltale sign.
Oh, all right. And let me throw this question in there. It seems as though when we're talking about 1968, the main vehicles that people pay more attention to, if anything, is the 68 Charger. For you guys at that time, what was the rivalry between the Charger and the Roadrunner? How did you look at people who may have gotten the Charger versus the Roadrunner? What was there a difference in the type of buyer or anything like that?
Well, Charger was more expensive. Charger looked good, but the GTX to me was better. I like that much better. I'd like to have one now, as a matter of fact. I'd rather have that than a Roadrunner.
Wow.
Because the GTX was a 440 and it was a little bit faster.
Okay.
And they're rare now. You rarely see one.
That's true.
In good condition. So that I'd like to have.
And as a Mustang owner, just like if you have a Mustang, you hate Camaros. If you have probably a Challenger, you hate Mustang. Well, we're going to do that later too. But so what was the rivalry car for the Roadrunner in 1968?
Probably Chevy. What do you call it? Chevelles?
Yeah.
Chevelle. 396s, those things.
All right.
Oh, I did race the 396 Camaro. Tore him up.
He should have been later.
I guess he couldn't shift, but I had the torque light. I was gone. He was still back there spinning. I remember that.
All right.
But no, I think that was at the Chevelle, 396 Chevelle.
Okay. That was the rivalry car.
Especially the 66. They were real popular back then. They were, to me, the best looking ones.
All right. And last question. When you look at what Plymouth ended up doing with the Roadrunner, is there ever a time, right? What years would you say is when they just totally just destroyed the whole car?
74, I think it was. Made it look like a Volare.
Yeah.
74 or 73, something like that. 75. In other words, when they changed. After 71, they got kind of raggedy.
Okay.
Actually, I didn't like those. To me, 68, 69, that was it.
Yeah.
Those were the only two good years, especially 69.
They
sold a ton of those.
Didn't they go to a kind of a wedge-shaped design, kind of like the way the 72 or 73 Chargers were when they started making the Roadrunner, and it had a similar shape to it than the box shape. I think that
was 70. Was that 70 that changed that?
No, I think the 70 still had your body style, if I remember right.
68 and 9 were similar.
Yeah.
71 they changed.
71, I think it was. Yeah.
Lights here.
Yep. And so you never liked that.
Robert bought the 71, I remember.
Did sales plummet when they made that body design change?
I would say so. Not only that, they had a variety of cars out there. More variety. In 71, they had a lot of cars, but then the rush was on to get a fast car before they quit.
Okay.
Before they stopped making them.
Yeah. All right.
Now, bring back memories now.
Yeah, that's what I'm hoping to do. So, all right, the last one then. Why do you think 69 was the year that they sold more of them? Was it because the 68 was so popular, now everyone wanted to get one? Or did Plymouth make some mods to the 69s and now made that one the one to get?
Oh, they made the mods and they had the 446 pack and everything like that on there.
Oh.
You can get that. So the people like that, and it was bare bones, just a 6-pack, no hubcaps, just some lug nuts, and it just zoomed, it went. So that was it. Poor man's racer.
All right, here's the
I remember Ken Brown, Chrysler Plymouth. We used to stop there all the time. Remember?
I'm going to look
that up. Remember that place.
Yeah. All right, here's probably the perfect way to end it.
And colors.
And whoa, all right.
They had a lot of different colors in 69.
Okay. What was the green one still your favorite?
Oh, that's green is my favorite now. Any color, that's green.
So how much did it cost you to fill up the Roadrunner?
Oh, shoot. $12. It didn't cost much. Gas was double digit, in the cents. Gas didn't cost anything back in the 60s.
Okay.
But money, we didn't have the money still. It's a cycle the way we go now.
Right.
It didn't cost much, $12, $13, $14, something like that.
Yeah, you probably were still complaining like it's taking $12 to fill this thing up.
Yeah. It was still a lot. But, they got us in the same boat now, same way.
That's true. That's true.
So,
all right.
that was it.
Anything else you want to share about your beloved 1968 Plymouth Roadrunner?
Just like lost love. You don't want to really talk about it. You brought it back, and now I feel hurt all over again. You never find another. They say the best way to get over one is get over another one, but you can't get another Roadrunner.
That is a perfect way to look at it.
There you go. So you always be hurt.
How do you replace that one, right?
Yeah, you can't replace that one. That was one of a kind. Right. And if you do see one, you don't want to pay for it now.
Right.
Now that you don't know where it's been, what it's been through, and a lot of people modify it, and it takes the originality away. So that's no good.
Mm-hmm.
So even right to the exhaust, they put different exhausts coming out of the back. They don't hang just right. They're not right. That a certain way they hung, they bounced off the concrete and made that sound. It was nice. It was real nice.
I never thought about that on how they always had the pipes curved just going down. Now we don't see that at all. We rarely see that. Everything just goes straight back.
Yeah. Yeah, straight back.
Wow.
It blows all that stuff right in your face.
Right. That's true. That's true. All right, man. Well, thank you. Definitely. We will save. I'm going to do what I did this time. I will save what I'm going to have car number 2 because I like talking to you impromptu because those are going to get the best stories out of you. So thank you, sir. I appreciate you sharing with everybody else the memories that I have of rides my dad had.
Okay, let me know if you want to know about any other good rides. I've had 40 some odd cars.
I think you gonna give me plenty of shows with all the cars that you've had.
Oh yeah.